think if you only look at the surface and you only deal with emotions, but you don't think of what happens under socialism, when you look at the Soviet Union, when you look at Cuba, they're terrible economic systems. Their poverty is rampant. In fact, the poor people in our country have always been better off than the poor people in socialized systems. So they have to understand what they're going to get. If they get a Bernie Sanders, they're going to get a disastrous system that does not distribute goods very well, but in which the vast majority of the public will live in poverty.
Reserving the right to object. One of the pledges I made to the people of Kentucky when I came here was that I would read the bills. This bill came here on Tuesday. It's 180 pages long. It involves new criminalization, new crimes that will be created at the federal level. It includes preemption of states. It includes a new federal regime which would basically supersede regulations or lack of regulations in Louisiana or Texas or Oklahoma. And so I think it deserves to be read, to be understood, and to be debated. And so I object to just rushing this through and saying, oh, you can't read the bill. I told people, everybody involved in this, I just want to read the bill. We've been working on it now for 2 days looking at the bill. We've been talking to people who worked on the bill. Is it not unreasonable to ask that we have time to read a bill? Here's the other problem. Every day in my office, business comes into my office, and what do they say? We're regulated to death. We're sick and tired of regulators from the executive branch that are out of control. So what does this bill do? It takes the power away from the states and creates a new federal regulatory regime. Here's the whole problem. People are now saying, please regulate us, and then when they get over-regulated, say, please stop regulating us. We should think through how we're going to do things around here. We should take the time to read the bills. We should take the time to understand the bills. So I will continue to object until we've had time to look at the bill thoroughly. With that, I object.
Automatic weapons we don't have. You know, we banned truly automatic weapons, I think, in 1930.
But we still got a lot of them around. Come on,
well, what we have is not automatic weapons, so we have semi-automatic. So they fire in a fairly fast sequence, but you can't pull the trigger and they come like a machine gun. Those are no longer out.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know
what it is that there's a repetitive fire. People do hunt with them, and people do also shooting and sport shooting and target shooting and things with these guns. And come to Kentucky, and I'll introduce you. There are a lot of people who like and enjoy this as a sport. But the other problem is if we're going to take away ownership of specific types of guns, you really have to modify something that big as to either be legislation or even possibly a constitutional amendment. We can't allow one individual to do it. And here, I'll give you an example why. Let's say we had a terrible president that you didn't like from another party, and that president said, The View, you should hear the things they're saying on The View. We should limit their speech. We should register the journalists, and then we should have an approval board. And you know, that's silly. We would all be opposed to that. But that's the danger of letting a president make the rules. Even if you agree with what he's doing now, you should worry about having a president have so much power to create the law.
The bulk collection of your phone data, the invasion of your privacy did not stop one terrorist attack. I don't think you have to give up your liberty for a false sense of security. When we look at this bulk collection, the court has looked at this. Even the court declared it to be illegal. If we want to collect the records of terrorists, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Let's use the Fourth Amendment. Let's put a name on a warrant. Let's ask a judge for it. Let's respect the history of our country. John Adams said that we fought the war for independence because we wanted to fight against generalized warrants. Let's don't forget that. I don't know about Tillerson, but I do know that John Bolton doesn't get it. He still believes in regime change. He's still a big cheerleader for the Iraq War. He's promoted a nuclear attack by Israel on Iran. He wants to do regime change in Iran. So I think John Bolton is so far out of it and has such a naive understanding of the world. If he were to be the assistant or the undersecretary for Tillerson, I'm an automatic no on Bolton. He should get nowhere close to the State Department if anybody with a sane worldview is in charge.